Does Meredith think I'm gay?
Derek's married.
My ex is about to ruin my impending marriage crisis.
It's hot now because you told everyone that we had sex!
You had sex? You had sex with George?
Grey's Anatomy has killed off 21 main characters, featured 8 major disasters, and somehow, Meredith Grey is still standing. But what if you stopped watching after McDreamy died and now you want to catch up without sitting through 250+ hours of medical drama? Today, I'm going to explain seasons 11 through 22 of Grey's Anatomy. Every relationship, every death, every career-changing moment that matters. Season 11. Season 11 is where everything changed. This is the season that killed McDreamy. But before we get to that heartbreak, let's set the stage. Christina Yang has left for Switzerland, leaving Meredith to find her footing without her person. Derek gets offered a job in Washington, D.C. with the president, creating massive tension in his marriage with Meredith, who refuses to leave Seattle. Meanwhile, we meet Maggie Pierce, who drops the bombshell that she's Meredith's half-sister, Ellis Grey and Richard Weber's secret love child. The hospital also brings in Dr. Amelia Shepard, Derek's neurosurgeon sister, who becomes a permanent fixture after previously appearing in private practice. Now for the moment that changed everything. After Derek and Meredith reconcile their marriage issues, he witnesses a car accident while driving and stops to help. After saving everyone, his own car gets hit as he's leaving. He's rushed to a hospital that isn't Grey Sloan Memorial, where incompetent doctors fail to order a head CT, missing his brain bleed until it's too late. Meredith makes the devastating decision to take him off life support. And just like that, after 11 seasons, McDreamy is gone. The season ends with Meredith discovering she's pregnant with Derek's 3rd child and disappearing for nearly a year, leaving everyone behind. Season 12. Season 12 is about rebuilding after loss. Meredith returns with baby Ellis, named after her mother, joining siblings Zola and Bailey. The hospital welcomes new characters, including Dr. Penelope Blake, who we later discover was one of the doctors who failed to save Derek. This season introduces a new dynamic. Meredith moves in with Amelia and Maggie, creating the sister house that becomes central to the show. Professionally, Meredith becomes the new head of general surgery, stepping into her mother's legacy while battling PTSD from Derek's death. April and Jackson's marriage crumbles after the death of their baby, while Owen and Amelia begin a relationship that's complicated by their shared trauma histories. The season ends with Amelia and Owen's wedding, while Callie leaves for New York after losing custody of her daughter to Arizona, marking Sarah Ramirez's exit from the show. Season 13. Season 13 brings chaos. Alex beats DeLuca to a pulp after mistakenly thinking he was taking advantage of Joe, leading to criminal charges and nearly ending his medical career. We learn Joe's shocking secret. She's married to an abusive husband and living under a fake identity to hide from him. Meredith finds herself in a love triangle with Nathan Riggs, who has history with Owen's presumed dead sister Megan. The hospital faces a computer hack that shuts down all systems, forcing the doctors to treat patients the old-fashioned way. But the season's biggest moment comes when a patient sexually assaults Stephanie Edwards, leading to a hospital lockdown and fire. Stephanie heroically saves a child but suffers severe burns, ultimately deciding to leave medicine. The season ends with the bombshell revelation that Owen's sister Megan is actually alive and has been found after being held captive for 10 years. Season 14. Season 14 brings reunions and departures. Owen's sister Megan returns after being presumed dead for 10 years, creating a complicated love rectangle with Owen, Amelia, Nathan, and Meredith. Megan and Nathan ultimately reconcile and leave Seattle together for a fresh start in California, ending Meredith's brief romance. This season introduces a major storyline about Harper Avery's history of sexual harassment, mirroring the real-world #MeToo movement. The foundation is renamed the Catherine Fox Foundation after the scandal. April Kepner spirals into a crisis of faith after a series of tragic patient outcomes, leading to a dangerous phase of partying and self-destruction. Meanwhile, Arizona explores a relationship with Karina DeLuca, but ultimately decides to move to New York to be closer to her daughter Sophia. The season marks the departure of two original characters, April Kepner, who finds her faith again and marries Matthew, and Arizona Robbins, who leaves for New York. In the season finale, we get the long-awaited wedding of Alex and Joe on a ferry boat, though they nearly miss it due to multiple disasters, including a lost wedding party and a severed foot. Season 15. Season 15 is officially dubbed the Season of Love. Meredith finally returns to dating, beginning a complicated triangle with new orthopedic surgeon Atticus Link Lincoln and Italian transplant surgeon Andrew DeLuca. Teddy Altman returns permanently, pregnant with Owen's baby from their one-night stand, creating a messy situation with Owen and Amelia. This season introduces two new LGBTQ+ doctors, Nico Kim and Levi Schmidt, whose relationship becomes the first male same-sex relationship featured as a major storyline. The hospital faces a record-breaking blizzard that strands the doctors with limited resources, forcing Teddy to give birth during the storm. By season's end, Meredith commits to DeLuca, who later takes the fall for her insurance fraud to protect a young patient, landing him in jail. The season closes with Teddy and Owen finally confessing their love for each other after nearly a decade of missed connections, while Amelia and Link begin their own relationship. Season 16. Season 16 deals with consequences. Meredith faces community service and the potential loss of her medical license due to the insurance fraud scandal. Richard, Alex, and Owen all begin working at a competing hospital called PAC North after being fired from Gray Sloan, creating a rival workplace storyline. Amelia discovers she's pregnant but doesn't know if the father is Link or Owen due to a brief reconciliation with her ex-husband. This season marks the shocking exit of Alex Karev, one of the last original interns. After disappearing, he reveals through letters that he's reunited with his ex-wife, Izzy Stevens, who secretly had his children from frozen embryos years ago. DeLuca begins showing signs of bipolar disorder, following in his father's footsteps as he becomes obsessed with a human trafficking case that no one believes. The season was cut short due to COVID-19, ending with Richard experiencing cobalt poisoning from a hip replacement that causes symptoms mimicking Alzheimer's, terrifying everyone who remembers Ellis's decline. Season 17. Season 17 tackles the COVID-19 pandemic head-on, showing our doctors on the front lines of the crisis. Meredith contracts a severe case of COVID-19 that leaves her in a coma for most of the season, experiencing dreams on a beach where she reunites with dead characters. These dream sequences bring back beloved characters including Derek, George, Lexi, and Mark in emotional reunions that gave longtime fans closure. Meanwhile, Teddy suffers a mental breakdown after Owen discovers her cheating with Tom Korosik, leading to a powerful episode exploring her past trauma. DeLuca tragically dies after being stabbed while pursuing a human trafficking suspect, finally vindicated but at the ultimate cost. The season also sees the departure of Jackson Avery, who decides to take over his family's foundation to address systemic racism in medicine, reuniting with April, who agrees to move with him to Boston. Meredith eventually recovers from COVID, though with lasting effects, and the season ends with a beach wedding for Maggie and Winston. Season 18. Season 18 brings a sense of renewal post-pandemic. Meredith splits her time between Seattle and Minnesota, where she works on a cure for Parkinson's disease. This project reunites her with Nick Marsh, a transplant surgeon she had chemistry with years earlier, reigniting their romance. The hospital faces a blood shortage crisis, highlighting real-world issues while creating tension in patient care decisions. Owen crosses an ethical line by helping terminal veterans end their lives, a secret that eventually comes to light after he's in a car accident. This season marks the return of Addison Montgomery for a special arc, bringing emotional scenes between her and Meredith as they reflect on Derek's absence. The hospital residency program is shut down due to poor management, creating a crisis that threatens the hospital's future. The season ends with Richard taking a sabbatical, Catherine's cancer returning, and Meredith being named interim chief of surgery as the hospital faces an uncertain future. Season 19. Season 19 represents a major reset with a new class of interns, reminiscent of the show's beginning. These new characters include Mika Yasuda, Jules Millen, Simone Griffith, Lucas Adams, revealed to be Derek's nephew, and Benson Kwan, each with their own complex backstories. Meredith's house, which had been a central location throughout the series, burns down in a dramatic fire, symbolizing the end of an era. This season marks Ellen Pompeo's reduced role, as Meredith decides to move to Boston to research a cure for Alzheimer's and give her daughter Zola access to a school for gifted children. With Meredith's departure, the show shifts focus to the ensemble cast, particularly the new interns and their relationships with the remaining attendings. The hospital faces financial troubles that threaten its future, with Catherine considering selling to a larger healthcare corporation. The season ends with Teddy collapsing during surgery, creating a cliffhanger about her fate. Season 20. Season 20 continues the show's evolution with shorter episodes and a tighter focus on the new generation of doctors. Teddy's collapse is revealed to be caused by a pulmonary embolism, requiring emergency surgery that Owen performs to save his wife. Meredith makes occasional appearances, maintaining her connection to Grey Sloan while building her new life in Boston. The interns face their first major trauma together when a building collapse brings multiple critical patients to the hospital. Joe and Link finally acknowledge their feelings for each other after seasons of friendship, beginning a relationship that faces immediate challenges. The hospital implements innovative surgical techniques including robotic surgery and AI diagnostic tools, reflecting real-world medical advancements. The season explores Simone's wedding plans and family drama, while Lucas struggles with living up to the Shepherd legacy while keeping his connection to Derek's secret. Season 21. Season 21 delves deeper into the lives of the new generation while honoring the show's history. The hospital celebrates its 100th anniversary, bringing back several former doctors for guest appearances and creating nostalgia for longtime viewers. Amelia faces a professional crisis when a high-risk surgery goes wrong, forcing her to confront her limitations as a surgeon. The interns, no longer rookies, begin taking on more responsibility and teaching the newest class, showing their growth as doctors. Richard considers retirement, prompting reflection on his legacy and the countless surgeons he's trained over the decades. A major storm hits Seattle, creating multiple emergencies and forcing the doctors to work under extreme conditions, reminiscent of earlier disaster episodes. The season ends with Meredith returning for a groundbreaking surgery, hinting at a possible permanent return to Grey Sloan. Season 22. Season 22, the most recent season, brings the show full circle in many ways. Meredith increases her presence at Grey Sloan, balancing her research in Boston with surgical innovations in Seattle. The hospital implements Meredith's Alzheimer's research into clinical trials, potentially changing the course of the disease that took her mother. The original intern's children begin appearing more prominently, with Zola Gray Shepherd showing interest in medicine and Ellis developing a health condition that creates new challenges for Meredith. Bailey and Ben face empty nest syndrome as Tuck leaves for college, while their adopted teen Joey continues to adjust to family life. The season explores healthcare inequality themes, with doctors fighting insurance companies and addressing disparities in medical treatment. In a shocking twist, Catherine's cancer takes a turn for the worse, putting her in a position where she must make difficult decisions about her treatment and legacy. The season culminates with a medical conference bringing together surgeons from across the country, including some familiar faces from the show's past, setting up potential storylines for the future. From McDreamy's death to Meredith winning the Harper Avery Award, from hospital shootings to plane crashes, Grey's Anatomy has put its characters through more trauma than any real hospital could possibly experience. But that's why we keep watching. It's not just about the medicine. It's about people who face impossible situations and somehow find a way to keep going. 18 years after it first aired, Grey's Anatomy continues to reinvent itself while staying true to Shonda Rhimes' original vision, showing that even in our darkest moments, we can find light in the people around us. The show has evolved from focusing solely on Meredith to becoming a true ensemble piece, with each character carrying their own compelling storylines. What makes Grey's Anatomy remarkable isn't just its longevity. It's how the show has managed to stay relevant by tackling real-world issues from sexual harassment to COVID-19, from healthcare inequality to racial justice. If you enjoyed this explanation of Grey's Anatomy seasons 11 to 22, hit subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite shows. And let me know in the comments what show you want me to cover next.